Call us toll free at 844-890-3390 for more details.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Phillies World Series Game 1 tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, you can hear the Phillies game on the radio, online, and on the app. I'll give you my prediction and thoughts for the game tonight and the series in just a bit. You can join the conversation. As always, 609-403-0973 is the text board, and you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. As always, we will get your fantasy football wants and needs. Some big news breaking today in terms of the NFL. No Deebo Samuel. Yeah, he's been ruled out. So what does that mean for fantasy football players? Well, Andy McNamara will join us in less than 20 minutes for his Friday fantasy football conversation here on Game Night. Of course, I'll give you my thoughts for the Eagles game coming up this Sunday. Coverage begins at 12 o'clock. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick on the call at 1 here on your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN FM. But we're going to start with the Phillies, and of course, you can join the conversation as well. I'll get to your guys' messages throughout the hour. Now that the day is finally here, and now that we no longer have days and hours of speculation to work through and weed through and all that kind of jazz, I think the big thing that I would love to kind of zero in on with this game tonight is there's a lot of people who are being very vague about who they're picking. I heard Jesse Rogers say on ESPN radio, I'm not going to pick the Astros to sweep the Phillies. And it's like, okay, well, what are you picking? Okay. There's a lot of people who are trying to hem and haw and say this is a close series and all this stuff. And I told you guys 3 days ago, I thought this was a 50-50 kind of series. And the reason why I think it's a 50-50 is because I think tonight and tomorrow night make or break the entire series. You got your two best pitchers going, Nola, Wheeler. The key to having a chance, not specifically winning, but having a chance to win, is for Nola and Wheeler to come up big tonight and tomorrow night. Those guys have to go out there and live up to the billing. How many times have we said throughout the year, the Phillies have one of the better 1-2 punches in all of baseball? And right now, we are in a World Series that does not have DeGrom or Scherzer, that does not have Strider and Fried. It does not have Urias or Kershaw, right? You don't have some of the bigger names. You don't even have a guy like Wainwright, who's the old veteran out there, even though he was the team's third pitcher. Quintana and Montgomery and Michaelis, you don't have any of those guys in the World Series right now. So you gave Wheeler that big contract to come to Philadelphia for moments like this. You gave Aaron Nola the extension because you believed that in moments like this, he has to be the guy. And you're going against a future Hall of Famer in Justin Verlander tonight. What's that lyric by Eminem? Don't miss this. This is your shot. Lose yourself in the moment. Never let it go. You only got one shot. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime. There's no guarantee that anybody on this Phillies team or this Phillies organization will make it to another World Series in the next decade. No guarantee, no anything. Tonight, you got to grab hold of this opportunity and you got to put your best foot forward. I don't care about analytics. I don't care about numbers with this. It is straight down to this. Aaron Nola is the guy who's done a lot of things in his career. He was top 3 in Cy Young voting. He tied the major league record for, remember, it was consecutive strikeouts and consecutive strikes thrown and all that stuff. This is a guy who we know what he's capable of. I don't care who the other team is. I care about who my guy is. And if my guy is Nola and Wheeler, I need them to go out there and go and give me more than a quality start. You know, in baseball, a quality start is 6 or more innings pitched with basically under 3 runs scored against you. I need better than that. I need 7 innings strong tonight and tomorrow night, because you don't know what games 3 and 4 and 5 are going to be like. There's the looming issue of the weather forecast on Monday. There's the conversation about a bullpen game in game 4. There's a lot of stuff swirling around out there. So if you want to win this series, it's as simple as if Nola in game 1 and Wheeler in game 2 give you high caliber, what they're capable of outings. You are in a position to split this series in Houston and go back to Philadelphia for those 3 games and take control of this series. You have to take advantage of the situation. Now, that's the pitching side. The hitting side, look, Justin Verlander is still one of the best pitchers in baseball. Even at basically, 40 years old, he is still an incredible pitcher who's had an incredible season. And he might even win the Cy Young again this year, which is insane because as a 39-year-old, he didn't pitch for 2 years and he went out there and had one of his best seasons ever, right? But what is Verlander? He is older. So what is the key to a guy like that? The key to a guy like that is trying to take advantage of any little opportunity he gives you. And one of the problems for the Phillies lineup is their best hitters, aside from Realmuto and Segura, are all lefties. Lefties historically don't hit Verlander as well as righties. So the historical idea of, hey, right-handed pitcher, left-handed lineup, there is a distinct discrepancy between what lefties and righties do against Verlander. This year, lefties are hitting 164. Right-handers are hitting 208. The slug percentage is pronounced as well. Right-handers have a 313 slug. Lefties have a 228 slugging percentage. And the on-base percentage is not good either. This might be one of those games where I can't guarantee you that Schwarber and Harper can be the guy who saves you. This game tonight, just knowing who Verlander is, his style of pitching, what he has done historically, you know that Verlander is a guy who certain types of hitters can take advantage of him. And this is where Realmuto and Segura may be the most important players tonight, because they're both guys who typically are contact first hitters. They're not swing and miss guys traditionally. And if Verlander is on a groove, history says that the right-hander is going to get him before the lefty. That's the first thing you got to keep in mind. The second thing you got to keep in mind with Verlander is he's not like a Greg Maddux where you got to get him early or don't get him at all. because this season he's not been that guy. He's not been the guy who the inning specifically matters against him, okay? What matters against Verlander is the fact that this is a guy who you know what he throws. You know he throws nasty stuff. You know the righties are better than lefties against him. So you just got to go in there with your best strategy, attack him, and try to get a hold of one. Get on base, move the runners over, make solid contact. Again, Phillies, Astros, World Series Game 1 tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Pre-game coverage coming up at the top of the hour. First pitch at 8:03. Now, I'd be remiss because it is football season. We'll talk about the Eagles as well, because the Eagles are in a position to go to 7-0. The last two times the Phillies were in the World Series, the Eagles started those seasons 5-2, 08-09. This is not the same situation. Not the same teams, not the same environment, not the same group of guys. There was no Jason Kelsey on those teams. There was no Jalen Hurts at quarterback. There was no Lane Johnson at right tackle. Totally different vibe and environment, 13, 14 years ago for the Eagles. So this Sunday, you're going to have the link, I feel like, pretty packed and pretty excited, because I think Eagle fans, with the Robert Quinn trade combined with the situation that comes with being 6-0, I think Eagle fans are starting to get excited. I heard Brian Dawkins say on Good Morning Football, where he told the host, he says, look, you feel the hope, you feel the energy in the town, in the city, in the sports community. And I think that while the Phillies have absorbed a lot of that energy because they've been playing and the Eagles have not, I think the Eagles are going to be able to ride that energy better than anyone. Because in football, there's many times you have to feed off of the crowd, or for better or for worse. And I think that the energy of Philly fan is going to translate for the Eagles game. And the Eagles, I think, have a very good chance to not just win this Sunday, but win convincingly, because the Steelers have a poor offensive line. Kenny Pickett's inexperienced. And let's be realistic. Does anybody really think that this Steelers team has a chance against the Eagles at home coming off a bye? I'm not saying it's going to be like a 48-10 blowout, but what I am saying is that there's a reason why the odds makers have put this game at the number that it's at. Because the number that it's sitting at, the last time I looked, and I'm going to look again just to make sure I got the latest number here. The last thing I saw was 10. All right, right now it's 10.5 over my friends, the FanDuel Sportsbook Inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. The odds makers are telling you that you look around the entire league, there's only 2 games with double-digit spreads. Packers-Bills, Eagles-Steelers. And what they're basically telling you without telling you is this Eagles team is significantly better than the Steelers. So there's an opportunity to take advantage of them in this game. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Let's see here. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says that Verlander high fastball is getting smashed tonight. By the way, I will be at the link this Sunday. Jeff, stay hydrated and stay safe, my friend. I feel like it's going to be a crazy crowd. Excuse me. Up there. Matt in Delaware chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says the Phillies need to score more than 3 or 4 runs tonight. Can't rely on the Phillies to shut them out like Nola did the last time they played. Astros are going to score at least 5 runs in every game, in my opinion. We need to score at least a run or 2 early in the game to win these games. That's from Matt in Delaware. Matt, I think you're right, but I think that you need Nola and Wheeler to not, you need them to hold the Astros at bay so you can chip away and get those 3-4 runs early in the game. You're right. They need to get it early. If you basically go out there and score a run every other inning, you're going to have 3 runs by the 6th inning. That's not enough. So you're going to need a little bit more than that to chip away at the Astros. I think that the majority of these games, Matt and Delaware has a good point. I think that it's going to be a very interesting situation because I don't think there's going to be a lot of low-scoring games. Now, maybe tonight's a one chance there is a low-scoring game tonight, but I think overall for the series, most of these games are going to be like 7-5, 6-4, 8-6, 5-3 kind of games. I don't think you're going to see a ton of 2-1 games in this series. And of course, Game Night being brought to you by friends with the FanDuel Sportsbook. Inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win with the Phillies this weekend. The Eagles this Sunday. College football on Saturday. And much more with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/play-well to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey to bet online. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Fantasy Football Friday next with Andy McNamara here with me on Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday at the Link, hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He lets it fly. It's intercepted by Slay. Second pick of the game.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Matt Platt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot. Get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan. The all-new Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online, mattplattnissan.com.
Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's Incredible Crab Specials Wednesdays this fall. 2 pounds of snow crab legs for $49.99 or 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays is Chicky and Pete's Go Birds Wing Special. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, get that percentage off your wings on Thursday. Higher score, bigger discount. Plus our fall specialty menu with the mouth-watering garlic truffle burger and B-Dog Impact Nachos. Enjoy a pumpkin shanty or a smoked apple cider margarita. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. And we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. Now just $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Limits apply. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, Bird Gang, now's your chance to score game-changing savings on a new Honda from Boardwalk Honda. Get 1.9% APR financing for 48 months on a new 2022 Honda Passport, Pilot, or Ridgeline. Start your game-winning drive today at Boardwalk Honda. Visit us in Egg Harbor Township or online at boardwalkhonda.com. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal.
Bigger, better, Boardwalk Honda.
Call us toll free at 844-890-3390 for more details.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Football season is in full swing at Vandal Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to Vandal Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City to get in on all the action this season. Vandal wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit Vandal.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
It is Fantasy Football Friday, so we have Andy McNamara joins us every week to talk the NFL because 5 weeks are going on. Guys who are going to be missing time, maybe unexpectedly, I'll call it. What do you do if you're a Deebo Samuel? Bit of a predicament. The man to ask about it is Andy McNamara. Joins us every Friday for a Fantasy Football Friday here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. I almost feel like my GIF I used on Twitter was a premonition. Wearing an AEW shirt, and I did use a Chris Jericho GIF.
That's right.
How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Yeah. Hey, I saw the Jericho. I'm like, I'm wearing my shirt. It's great. It was perfect. Actually, it's apropos. Because I did a pre-tape interview with Alex Marvez, of course, who's a great NFL radio host and reporter on All Elite Wrestling. So I had I sucked up a little bit wearing the old AEW gear.
Nice, very nice. So let's get into some of the news, which is let's start with last night first.
Yeah,
I think last night was a very interesting situation because I think that if you are a fantasy football owner, if you're just a football fan in general, right? I think you're starting to sell on anything related to Tampa. And maybe now you feel more confident in buying anything related to Baltimore.
Well, here's the tricky part. Because even though Tampa Bay is crumbling, Tom Brady is imploding, the fantasy part isn't all lost, Josh, because you still look at Mike Evans, who still had 123 yards and 6 catches. That's a darn good fantasy night. That's a good day. Look at Chris Godwin, 6 and 75. Now, you didn't get the touchdown you want. Julio siphoned that. He's just a vulture now at this stage. He was just vulturing stuff. Don't want him, don't need him. But you look at the 2 stars, the star power, Godwin and Evans. Tom Brady now, crazy enough, it looks like he is being downgraded into fantasy worlds, almost like a Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill type, where it's like he's not necessarily a fantasy play himself, but he can still push those guys around him to be fantasy relevant. But what a tumble for poor Tom.
Yeah, I also bring up Baltimore because I got to tell you, I accidentally kept Devin Duvernay in one of my lineups. And I literally forgot he was even in there. And I pick up my phone. I'm like, he got me 16 points. All right. Like
you lucked out there.
Well, you're watching the game. And I'm like, I literally said to the lady who was sitting next to me, Danielle, when I was down over at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, I turned to her and I said, Devin Duvernay sitting on my bench. There he is scoring that touchdown, And after the game, I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, wait, he's not on my bench.
You know what's funny, Josh? We were doing the 97.3 ESPN radio NFL draft show, the Devin Duvernay one. And remember, I was talking him up. I was saying, Duvernay, look, I wanted him for the Eagles. I thought from the value for the Eagles over, let's say, Jalen Reagor, I thought a perfect fit. Went to Baltimore at a later mid-round, and I loved what he was showcased in college out of the slot possession guy for fantasy PPR. But because it's Baltimore and it's run first, he's sort of not been too consistent. He's had a few good games, and he got that touchdown, which really bumped his fantasy value up. So a little inconsistent, but I'm at least intrigued with Devin Duvernay. And I got to say, if you're a Mark Andrews owner, you're saying, what the bleep is going on with this? That's another 2 games in a row that Lamar Jackson's not thrown to Duvernay. Isaiah Likely? I know Andrews got injured, but like, that's the guy, like very frustrating.
Well, that's part of the other part of the story, and that is everyone who went into that game questionable. Andrews, Edwards, they all left the game before the end. So is this a scenario where that 10-day gap, right, between Thursday night and your next game, could this be a crucial point in the season for, like, for example, Mark Andrews owners to get that guy healthy and back on the field?
I would be trying to handcuff and get Isaiah Likely as soon as possible, ASAP, as soon as possible on your team if you're a Mark Andrews owner, or just in any case, because he's really a name that came out of nowhere. And because the tight end position, we know how thin it is. You really, if you have a viable handcuff, which it's not nearly the same as with running backs, you can have handcuff running back coming, Alexander Madison. Okay, Cook is down, boom. The guy gets you 20, you're feeling fine. Doesn't happen typically with tight ends. This guy at least flashed that he could, and he popped for Buffalo last year or in the preseason. So when I think of that, it's like, okay, I want to make sure if I'm an Andrews owner, I'm backfilling myself, and then just hoping he gets healthy, because really at tight end, if you take out Mark Andrews, you just have Travis Kelce. Like, that's it. That's it for the whole thing. Darren Waller can't stay healthy. I keep seeing that big Q beside his name in my 97.3 fantasy league roster there. Big old Q for Waller. Driving me nuts. So, like, it's really dicey. But, yeah, Isaiah Likely would be big. Here's the problem with Baltimore, though. Still, you cannot pinpoint. It used to be Mark Andrews. It used to be, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, done. Now you take Andrews sort of out of the equation. You don't know who's getting the ball. Are you really going to bank that Demarcus Robinson's going to get you 6 catches? That's a fool's errand. That's ridiculous. No, you can't do that. James Proche, the second, not the first, the second. I actually got one of his rookie. You know what? I got, like, quick side. I got one of the his rookie year the other year, one of the Prism packs. I got I got an autographed James Proche, the second card. That was my auto in my pack. Useless James Proche. Get out of here. I'd rather have his father. Give me the first autograph. Get him.
Oh my gosh. Let's get to the 2 big injuries of the weekend. I'm going to start with Debo because it just came out today. I know a lot of people out there, they're wondering, Steven Ventnor says, I am a Debo owner. He texted in the show. He says, I moved Olave to wide receiver 2, and I'm starting Miles Sanders at my flex. So that's one, owner's decision. So, yeah, talk about, if somebody out there is a Debo Samuel owner, speak to people, Andy, like Steven Ventnor.
Well, Steve, you made it. I like your roster shuffling. That's good. And here's the tricky part with the star power, of course, right? Usually really tough to back that up, especially we're looking at a bye week that you're without weapons on the Chiefs and the Chargers. So now we're even complicating things a bit further with that. So if you're Debo, here's the good news away from Debo. If you're a Brandon Ayuk owner, you're clapping your hands. We got some clarity. If you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, if you're a George Kittle owner, you take one significant wild card weapon out of that San Francisco offense. And that's a good thing for all those. Now, if you're a Debo owner, the trouble is, okay, where do I go? Well, as we know, we're not replacing that. But there are a couple options that I really like off the waiver wire if you're panicking. And there's always a path to my sort of danger zone or Hail Mary picks here, Josh. And the guy I like is Marquise Goodwin. I like Marquise Goodwin for the Seahawks, and I like him because when DK Metcalf got carted off and Ty Lockett has a hammy, Geno Smith immediately went to him in a big, consistent way. The Giants are 6-1. This could be a fun little back and forth, and Lockett's not going to be 100%, and it's dicey on Metcalf. I think Marquise Goodwin still only owned in 23% of most leagues. When I did my video on at AndyMC81, my waiver wire one on Tuesday, he was owned in 2%. So if you can still get him, that might be something as a desperation flex. You can pop him in.
I mean, that's one of those things where you didn't even know that he was still around. Like,
I know. He came out, it's like, oh, isn't that the track guy? Wasn't he like trying for the Olympics or something?
Texas. He was a track and field guy.
Yeah.
Well, so Philadelphia fans are a little nasty about Goodwin because Eagle fans were mad because the Eagles actually tried to trade for Goodwin. And it was the 2020 season. Remember, guys had the choice to opt in or opt out, right?
Yeah.
Well, he opted out. They voided the trade. And as you know, the Eagles went and had their worst season in like a decade that year. So there's a bunch of Eagle fans like, well, we had a deep threat and he opted out of the season. And then it's like he played last year for the Bears, which is where all receivers are going to die, basically. So it's like when he showed up in Seattle, I was like, wait, is that the Marquise Goodwin who played with the Bills and the 49ers and didn't want to play in 2020? Like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy how guys just sort of hang around and then pop up, right? And it might only be a 1 week thing for Marquise Goodwin. One other guy, and I'm not going to advocate playing him this week unless you're really desperate, but Sean McVay said he's going to get a normal workload. Van Jefferson. I freaking love Van Jefferson as a player. I love his talent. However, he's missed all this time. So I think it's really tough to be able to say, okay, let's count on him going into a Rams offense that is just absolutely sputtering with Matt Stafford. But for a stash, I wouldn't mind seeing how that works out.
Well, speaking of quote-unquote Rams offenses, Zach Taylor has an interesting conundrum on his hands. Jamar Chase out 4 to 6 weeks. Hayden Hurst is limited at practice today with a groin/ankle. I mean, those are two completely different
That's an odd
situations.
Combo. That's like a Carson Wentz both ankles.
Yeah,
rolled.
both ankles twisted, right. So if you're a fantasy owner and you got Jamar Chase, you're dashing him on the injured list right now, right? And you got to make a decision what you're going to do. Like, is Tyler Boyd, is that a guy you go out and try to pick up? Do you even trust picking up Hayden Hurst because he's on again, off again, injured? Do you go completely off the board to a Marquise Goodwin? Like, what do Jamar Chase owners do?
I absolutely love the play of Tyler Boyd this week. DFS must start. And T. Higgins, obviously, too. He's going to take over the top dog role. But we're talking for secondary ones. Because Tyler Boyd went off last week, like explode. And that's a great sign. And remember, most teams, folks, like the Bengals just have a plethora of weapons, right? Like most teams do not have 3 guys who could arguably be number ones on other teams. Boyd, probably more in a solid 2 role on most teams, but he goes right back up there. And like you said, with Hayden Hurst not 100%, this is going to be, I think, a absolute smash for Higgins, for Boyd, and maybe even for Joe Mixon. Like I could see maybe they just try to mix him in a little bit more as well, and you just make do against the Browns defense. I hate to say it, Josh. It's this is the season pretty much right here for the Browns. Yeah. You go to 2-6, you're done. That defense, you're without your best guy. Denzel Ward looks like he likely won't play for a 3rd game with a concussion, and you're sort of banged up across. So Tyler Boyd, I hate to say it, but you got to play him.
Andy McNamara joining us here for a Fantasy Football Friday on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN, FM 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle, at AndyMC81 on Twitter. We got a message from Sam in Avalon. He has a 2-part question. He says, 1, how does Andy feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire long term? And of course, I'm understanding why he's asking that question, because you and I had a conversation off the air about the fact that Chiefs are starting Pacheco, but you told me very specifically, you said, Josh, I think he's going to be in there for more pass blocking than anything else. Mm-hmm. And what happened? Pacheco didn't get a lot of touches. Everyone else on the Chiefs team got touches, but Pacheco. So I think it's an interesting question from Sam and Avalon. His first question is, how does Andy feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire moving forward?
I don't feel good about any of the Chiefs running backs, guys. I just don't. Because it was like, it's the thing is, if you're good at pass protection and you're on the field, that's good because you're on the field, and maybe if something goes sideways, you can be a check down. So right. You at least want the chance to be on the field. But yeah, it's kind of like like you said, like we talked about, it's like I don't expect that big of a workload. And you look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm looking at his fantasy output last 3 weeks, single digits, like big time. So what does that mean? It probably just means you're going to be spreading it across those 3 backs. That's it. And you bring in 2. Here's another thing. You bring in Kadarius Toney. I don't know if he's going to play this week or not, for the Chiefs. But does that not just scream to you, Josh, that Andy Reid is missing that gadgetry of Tyreek Hill? We're going to see Kadarius Toney line up, run around, get tosses. That's going to eat even more into the workload. So if I'm a Clyde Edwards-Helaire owner, I don't know what you'd get for him in a deal, but maybe start dangling it out there a little bit and just see if you can get something back in return. You might not, but I'm not confident.
His other question is, who should I start in my flex this week? Now, when I read these three names, I have a lot of questions for Sam and Avalon. Okay. So I'm giving my analysis before Andy does. But
I'm intrigued.
Sam and Avalon wants to know who he should start his flex. Chris Olave, Christian Kirk, or Amari Cooper?
Olave. No question. No, Chris Olave has been sensational. He's been sensational with, let's just put it very nicely, less than ideal quarterback situation in New Orleans, right? Like Christian Kirk, like it's, first of all, it's Chris Olave, like Chris Olave. Just draft day it, write it down the post-it note, put it in your pocket. Chris Olave, no matter what. But Christian Kirk, I love and really you could couple Zay Jones in a stage under him and even Marvin Jones under that. But Christian Kirk gives you a high floor, low ceiling. That's your comfort level. Christian Kirk is your nice, safe, if you're on bye week trouble, boom, you can pop in Christian Kirk. He'll get you 12 to 14 fantasy points. You're doing okay. But if you have the option, Chris Olave, you got to go that way.
The reason I said what I said before is because I want to know how that draft went. Like, how do you end up with all three of those guys as your flex? Like,
yeah.
How many leagues, those are like your wide receiver 1 and 2 options, right?
That's right.
Like who are your top receivers? Justin Jefferson and I don't know.
Jamar Chase? Like what?
Yeah, Jamar T. Higgins? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It seems like a good team. That's a good stash.
I mean, literally just based on that, I think Sam and Avalon, okay, he just replied back. He says, I have Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill. So putting Olave at wide receiver 1 doesn't work for me.
What a tremendous problem to have.
How did you end up with both of those guys?
Sam?
That's insane.
Well done. Sam, tell us what your ring size is, because I think you're winning the title in your league. My goodness. What a haul. Good for you, Sam. He's
got Kupp, he's got Hill, he's got Olave, and he's got Christian Kirk and Amari Cooper, just in case.
You know what, Sam, if you can text it, who's your running backs? He must have bailed on running backs. He has no running backs. There's no way.
That's usually my problem. I always end up in like the worst running back situations. It's like, I start, like every week I'm scouring the wire and I'm like,
it's dicey, man. It is so bad.
It's so bad. Like, I feel like every year around like the end of October and November, you and I are talking, and it's like the dearth of running back availability on the wire. Like, you're literally at a point where you're just like, can I be in one of those leagues that has like the wide receiver running back / option?
Oh, I got a beauty for you, because I was looking at in one of my leagues this today at the desperation. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be getting, I know, Raheem Blackshear questions this week, Josh. Raheem Blackshear of the Carolina Panthers.
The former Rutgers running back.
Oh, there you go. Who rises like a phoenix to the RB2 status behind Donta Foreman because Chuba Hubbard's out. What a mess. Carolina, like, okay, like if you're, and I don't think there's very many like hardcore Carolina Panthers fans, but just start watching college football because you're getting the first overall pick. Like, come on, man.
By the way, I think we can confirm that if Sam from Avalon doesn't win his fantasy league, that we all need to reconsider our lives, because one of his running backs is Aaron Jones.
How many teams are in your league? Is it like, are we talking about like the league?
He said it's like a 12. He said it's a 12 league situation, 12 team league.
Wow. Well, I don't know how you did it, Sam. I don't.
Sam and Avalon basically Rochambeau'd Howie Roseman the entire fantasy league. Like,
yes, they play with newbies. Like, you're in an office pool and with Englishmen, and no one's they think football is soccer.
They've never seen football before. They're just like, what is this football? You know,
what is this football?
Or maybe he's in one of those leagues where like people only draft like the people on their teams. So it's like, maybe he's in because he says he's from Avalon. So maybe it's like, we have a lot of Eagle fans, a lot of Giant fans. We got Jet fans around here. So, you maybe got one of those guys who's got a team that's got like, Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson both on the team. And another guy, maybe he drafted like, Saquon and all the injured Giant wide receivers. And maybe got another team that like is like, I drafted Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders and AJ Brown. And you're just like, oh, okay, man. Like,
actually, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea this year.
Well, the Eagles one's not bad. You're right. But just the general principle of drafting everybody on your team is usually a losing proposition.
It's a bad. I never have that problem with my Browns, Josh. I never have that problem of overdrafting. It's like Nick Chubb, and well, that's about it. That's about all. Gosh, man.
Oh my goodness. Let me before I let you go. Let me try to get this on the split screen here because he
he showed his roster.
He sent me his roster, so I'm trying to split screen it here for you so you can see.
Like, I just want to watch. Like, they need to like live stream. I don't even know. Like their week or something. I want to watch this league now. I'm very interested of what is actually happening in this league.
See that on the screen?
I do not.
I got to add it. That's why. There we go.
Okay, now I see it. I'm going to get real close on the screen if you're watching, folks. Let me see here. It's a little small. Okay.
So
for your move.
His quarterback situation is a little dicey.
Ooh, Tua is bad. Yeah.
Because he's got Tua and Kyler. But you know what that means? He probably drafted all of his guys before he went for quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what? You can survive with Kyler.
Yeah, Kyler's not a bad. And honestly, I'd probably start Tua this week over Kyler, but it's hard not to start Kyler because he's always going to break out for one game or two or three or randomly in fantasy.
And Josh, really, like you look at Tua and if you take out that, and I'm not what best game of his career, I'm sure that 6 touchdown game, he's averaging 15 fantasy points. He's what Tua's been in his career. So you had that one blip of incredible, and then he's averaging 15 points. I'm looking at Kyler. Well, okay, the last 3 weeks, he's still gotten in the 17s. Those are still better numbers than you would have got with Tua.
I'm just looking at this roster right now. It's just like Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave. He's got all 3 of them.
He's got Melvin Gordon. That's bad. That's not great.
Yeah, the Melvin Gordon thing. But you know what? He said he had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So maybe Melvin Gordon was like the best option he had.
You can survive. You can survive with that with those receivers, man.
That's still like a pretty good winning caliber lineup. Like I'm not going to tell you Pat Freiermuth though is going to do well against the Eagles this week, but
no,
can't win them all, right?
Well, quarterback situation, and so you have to punt it on something, and he punted on tight end, and really. Let's be honest, Josh, if like we said, if you're not getting Travis Kelce and before these injuries, Mark Andrews, you're kind of punting on it anyway. Dalton Schultz, I was very high on, but he's having a lot of trouble staying healthy. I like what Dallas Goedert has done overall, but he's certainly in that secondary tier.
Before I let you go, I have to read this text.
Okay.
The person didn't leave their name, so I'm just going to call them anonymous. They said, Call of Duty, the latest Call of Duty came out last night. You can't play Kyler Murray the rest of the season.
Oh, I am fascinated to see how this guy plays. It's out now.
Yes.
Oh my. Okay. Okay. You know what? So Kyler has today all day. It's a 1:00 kickoff. Oh boy. I'm so interested to just see, because also, Josh, we're at that time of the year, and now the Cardinals never started. They never got to their hot start and then collapsed. So they've already sort of kind of collapsed.
Yeah, well, Hopkins showed up halfway into the season, so now maybe their hot start starts now.
This is when they usually start going down. Does this Call of Duty have an effect? That's something to watch, folks.
What is the more powerful force in Arizona? Is it DeAndre Hopkins' presence, or is it Call of Duty at home? Tune in to find out this Sunday on Fox.
His thumbs are tired. He can't grip the ball. His thumbs are all working from all the clicking and clacking.
Andy McNamara joins us every week to talk NFL. Before I let you go, I know you got like a million shows now. You're turning into a media savant. So go ahead and tell the folks what you're doing.
Yeah, so I got a new platform for my Sunday show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern start on the Fired Up Network. So, Josh, they're on over 200 platforms. TV, Roku, Apple Music, Google, pretty much anywhere you can get sound, the show's going to be on 10:30 a.m. We're going to Alex Marvez, NFL reporter, and he does such a great job, and also AEW. So we talk a bit of wrestling too. So we're going to get my 2 hot picks there, some betting picks and advice, getting you ready for the week. So that is Sunday, and then my new combo show, Cleveland Browns /fantasy/betting on the Sick Media Network. Adam Rank of NFL Network has a podcast on there. He had me on a couple times and had a great time with him. So they offered me a show, and I'm like, well, I like money, Josh, and so I took it. And the Sick Media Network, it's awesome. It's going to be Tuesday and Friday, so stay tuned at AndyMCD1 on Twitter. And we're going to be all over the place with fantasy and betting stuff.
What that really means is Andy has no conflicts with coming on Fridays here on Game Night on 97.3.
Absolutely not.
ESPN.
That's right. No, I'm still going to be right here on Friday. The show will air at some point afterwards. There'll be absolutely no conflict. I'm going to ravishing Rick Rude it and show up on 2 shows on the same night. In fact, those old school wrestling fans will get that. Raw and Nitro.
That's a great poll by you. And by the way, don't forget, folks, London game this Sunday, Jags and Broncos. So if you are one of those poor souls who has Broncos still on your fantasy team, like Sam in Avalon, who's got Melvin Gordon, keep in mind it's a London game, and Russell Wilson was high-stepping in the hallway to keep his hamstring loose during the flight over.
You know what? Russell Wilson has become the most unlikable good guy. Like, he is like the Rocky Maivia before he became the Rock. He's Kurt Angle drinking milk. He's just too sweet. I was doing high steps on the plane. See, fellas?
Everybody was sleeping. I had to keep my hamstring loose.
So what do you do to wake people up? You're jostling the plane around, spilling people's drinks. Sit down, Russ. You're not impressing anybody. God, what a great game to sleep into. Broncos, Jags, please.
I'll be watching it because I'll be, as you know, I work Sunday mornings. So I'll be I actually already told the GM over at the establishment. I said, it's on ESPN Plus, so make sure you have the game on just in case someone's looking for it.
Just in case. Well, one of these days, Josh, I'll be down. I'll come down with you, and we'll do a Sunday show from one of your on location spots. Those pictures, that beer looks cold, the food looks good. So I want to be in on it at some point.
Andy follows me on Instagram. We're friends. So that's
right.
Andy, take care of yourself, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
See ya. Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
Red October continues on 97.3 ESPN.
Swing and a high fly ball. Left field. That one is back. Gone!
Listen to the Phillies and Houston Astros in the World Series on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. It's Phillies Astros Game One tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. South Jersey's home for the 2022 World Series.
Matt Blatt Mitsubishi in Glassboro, offering you huge discounts. Now you can get a great deal on a brand new Mitsubishi. Visit Matt Blatt Mitsubishi online at mattblatt.com. That's mattblatt.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Dine in for these amazing fall specials. Wednesday is crab night. 2 pounds of snow crab legs, $49.99. Or mix it up with 2 pounds of snow crab legs and 4 hard shells for $79.99. Thursdays are for the birds. Whatever the Eagles score on Sunday, you get to save on wings at Chicky and Pete's on Thursday. Plus, limited time fall specials, including bomb pork belly tacos and the garlic truffle burger. Wash it down with our pear elderflower mule or apple cider old fashioned. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. And we know Saturdays in the fall are special. Why? College football. And we have you covered with food and drink specials and the best in-game experience to watch your team or the college football game of the week. Come watch Penn State, Temple, Villanova, Notre Dame, Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and more. College football Saturdays are special at Chickies and Pete's.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to tap into human emotion, first with some music. Then in a serious tone, I'll say, save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. And even though it was about saving money with Progressive, we'll fade out the music so you know it was poignant. Wow, powerful stuff. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
At my age, I never dreamed I'd be dealing with opioid addiction.
I was pregnant and I couldn't stop. Getting sidelined by an injury was bad, but the cravings were way worse.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
They connected me to treatment and I had a healthy baby. 844-REACH-NJ was the call that made the difference.
Thank goodness I made the call.
So glad I made the call for both of us.
REACH-NJ. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. So this holiday season, we're giving you 40% off any new system because feeling secure in your home is a gift that everyone deserves. Named Best Home Security of 2022 by U.S. News & World Report, Simply Safe protects your whole home with advanced technology, powered by 24/7 professional monitoring. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to save 40% today. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVPs Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Football season is in full swing at FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City to get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Went a little long with Andy McNamara, but it's just too much good stuff with Andy. Cut it short. Of course, Game Night being brought to my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. Yes, Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, the plumbing guy, because Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing, and drain cleaning services. Call 609-641-6262 online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, here's the weekend lineup. Phillies tonight coming up next on 97.3 ESPN FM. Tomorrow at noon, Ohio State versus Penn State, followed by Georgia and Florida in college football. Then Phillies game 2 of the World Series tomorrow night. And then on Sunday, Eagles at noon, following Billy Schweim in the locker room. Here on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Mike Carlin joins me in the studio. As always, we'll hear from the sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan from Las Vegas. Hour 2, we'll talk Phillies baseball and go on the mound with Tommy Green, brought to you by Aaron Beta's Golf and Performance Club. Tommy will break down Game 1 of the World Series and preview Game 2. Plus, don't forget, we'll be broadcasting live from yesterday's Creekside Tavern for our Eagles pregame show. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, for the YouTube only chat crowd, thank you for watching. Not going to spend a lot of time here because I got a bunch of work I got to do. Full disclosure. So, for those of you who tune in for the picks, I'm going to try to give you as many of my thoughts on some games as possible right here, right now, in the next few minutes. So, first of all, the college football slate is a very interesting weekend because I mentioned that Ohio State Penn State game. I think that's one of those games that is a stay away game. If you are somebody, who likes to throw some quote unquote action on the games, I'm a big believer in sometimes you just got to say no. Ohio State and Penn State is 14.5 over at FanDuel Sportsbook. That number tells me, because you look at the valuation. So this is one of those little bits of information that I learned from people who know more about the stuff than I do. So I learned a long time ago that the odds makers tell you things by the number of values they put on things. So the minus 14.5 favorite for Ohio State is valued at minus 114. The Penn State plus 14.5 is minus 106. You see how those numbers are different? That means that the odds makers are telling you that Ohio State is only a slight favorite to cover that number. So if Ohio State's only a slight favorite to cover that number, that means you want to stay away from it because it's at Penn State. If Ohio State, you say, I want to take Ohio State to win, and they only win by 14, you're dead. You're done. So that's a game I think is a huge stay away game. The game I do think is not a stay away game is TCU West Virginia. I know it's in West Virginia, but I just feel like WVU has struggled so much this year that TCU should win by 10 points or more in that game. A couple of the college games I want to give you some thoughts on real quick here. That's where maybe like, subscribe, YouTube channel at Josh Hennig on YouTube, Josh Hennig as well on Twitter. I would not be surprised if the Northwestern Iowa game is incredibly low scoring. You're talking about an Iowa team that has trouble scoring and has a great defense, and a Northwestern team that struggles to do anything well. Over under 37.5. Yeah, I'm probably leaning the under in that. That's like a 17-10 kind of game on a good day. Another stay away game. I think there's a lot of stay away games, honestly, the college football this weekend. The Illinois-Nebraska game. Illinois is favored by 7.5 in that game. That feels like a stay away. I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska covers the 7.5, just because I don't know if Illinois is as good of a road team as they are a home team. A couple other games I'm looking very closely at this week. I think Wake Forest can cover the 3.5 at Louisville. Again, these are suggestions. I'm not telling you to bet anything. If you do have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. These are suggestions and thoughts. These are not me telling people what they should or shouldn't bet. I do think the Kentucky-Tennessee game is fascinating. I would take we talked with Gina Toretta about this yesterday. I like the plus 11.5 on Kentucky's side. I think that they're going to give Tennessee a real game. I really do. All right, so that's all the college games right there. I'm just trying to scroll through real quick. I'm literally doing this on the fly. I didn't do my usual number of research because I've just been so swamped with other things at work this week. Yeah, I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have a lot of picks I like if they don't look good. So let's hit the NFL real quick. I think the Eagles win this Sunday. I think the Eagles cover the 10.5. I do like that. I think Broncos Jags is going to be a super ugly game over in London. So give me the under 40.5. I'll probably get that pick later, but 10.5. I like the Eagles to cover. Any other games on here stand out to me? I'm just scrolling through real quick, looking at these numbers. I mean, what's the Dolphins Lions over under? Let's see here. 51.5. I'll take that over. I can see that being like a 28-24 game. It hits over 51.5. So there you go. By the way, we hit the over last night on Thursday Night Football. Any other games stand out to me? Cardinals Vikings. What is that over under at? 49. I'll take the over on that. I mean, that's going to be easily hitting the 48.5. Yeah. Okay, so I like some overs in the NFL this weekend, looks like. One more cursory scan. You know what? Niners, Rams. That's probably going to be an under. Both those teams hit the under most games this year. 41.5, 42.5. Yeah, I'll still go and say that I would lean to the under in that situation. So, and that's it. That's all I got for you guys. All right. Thank you for watching on YouTube, the post show. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night. And I will catch you back for game night on Monday. I'll be with Billy Schweim Sunday at yesterday's Creekside Tavern, Marmora, for the Eagles pregame show. And then I'll be back with my show on Monday. And don't forget, this is your home as well for the Mutant Blitz podcast. So if you like comic movies and TV shows, this is the channel for you as well. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night. Go Phils.